Dwayne Bryant here from WagerTalk.com, coming to you on Wager Talk TV with another edition of DB's Freebies. I lost last week's free NFL play thanks to Lamar Jackson's early exit, and that loss snapped a 4-game win streak on these free NFL videos, so we're going to start a new streak here in Week 14. And speaking of Week 14, what are your favorite NFL plays for this week? Let me know by commenting below. Also, do you have an NFL betting topic you'd like me to cover? If so, let me know by commenting below. Or do you have any general handicapping questions you'd like me to answer? Again, drop them in the comments section below. I do read all comments and reply to all of them as well. Except for comments from trolls. I don't feed trolls. But anyway, let's get into the look-ahead line segment. These are the lines that the Westgate puts out on the Tuesday, the week before the games. So all lines referenced are Westgate lines. We're going to start out with the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. The look-ahead line was Minnesota -3. That is now switched to Detroit -2.5. I get the move towards Detroit here based on what we just saw last week. But I don't understand a move this big. We're talking 5.5 points. I actually checked the Vikings injury report just to make sure there wasn't a major injury that I missed somehow. I get it. Detroit's only loss in its last 5 games was by a field goal against Buffalo on Thanksgiving. And they beat Jacksonville like they owed them money. And I did have Detroit in that game last Sunday. And I do think the Vikings are overrated. Their plus 10 point differential is the worst of any 10-win team in NFL history. Here's the shocker for me. My DVOA-based projection is Lions by 6. That surprised me. For those unfamiliar with DVOA, it measures a team's efficiency by comparing success on every single play to a league average based on situation and opponent. So, for example, a 20-yard completion in the final seconds of a game when the team is down 3 touchdowns and the defense is in prevent mode is going to be weighed much lower than a 20-yard completion on the team's opening drive of the game. So again, my DVOA-based projection is Lions by 6. That tells me there's value on the Lions laying less than a field goal here, but I seriously doubt I'm going to have a ticket with Detroit laying points. Moving on to Baltimore at Pittsburgh. The look-ahead line was Baltimore -4.5. That is now flipped to Pittsburgh -2.5. And this line movement is all about the injury to Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. Likely to miss this game. Tyler Huntley likely does start this game at quarterback for Baltimore. But he wasn't bad stepping in for Lamar Jackson last Sunday. Huntley went 27 for 32, 187 passing yards. He did not throw a touchdown pass, and he did have 1 interception, but he also rushed 10 times for 41 yards, including the game-winning touchdown run with 28 seconds to go. And that Denver defense is a top 10 defense in the NFL, so not a bad game at all for Huntley. Now he gets a full week of practice reps with the first-team offense. And that should only help his cause in this one. One thing that won't work in Huntley's favor here is that this game is in Pittsburgh. No friendly hometown fans here. The terrible towels will be out flying. The crowd should be very lively for this division rivalry. And we'll see how well Huntley handles a hostile environment. Now, my DVOA-based projection is Ravens by 5, but that was with Jackson under center. So I think we can downgrade that a bit to about Baltimore -2. And that means I still see value on the Ravens catching points here. But I think I need to see Huntley perform in a hostile road setting before I'm willing to, lay any money down on him and the Ravens. Moving on to the game with the Houston Texans at the Dallas Cowboys. The look-ahead line was Dallas -14. That is now up to Dallas -16.5. I'm not surprised at all with this move. We just saw the Cowboys hang a 50-burger on the Colts in a 35-point mugging. And Houston's offense is even worse with Kyle Allen at QB instead of Davis Mills. So I get the move, and my DVOA-based projection is Cowboys by 19.5. But I'm just not comfortable laying this many points with Dallas, and I say that as a lifelong Cowboys fan. Since the 2014 season, favorites of more than 2 touchdowns have cashed at a 58% clip, so they have been very profitable. And Dallas did cash in this role back in 2019 when they were a 22-point home favorite and beat Miami 31-6. But the better play in this game just might be under 45.5 because Houston may not find the end zone here, and I don't know how motivated Dallas will be to run it up after last Sunday's 50-burger blowout. Moving on, we're going to look at the Carolina Panthers at the Seattle Seahawks. The look-ahead line was Seattle -7. That is now all the way down to -3.5. I get the move. I just don't know if I agree with it moving 3.5 points. Carolina is off the bye, so they should be rested and well prepared for this one. We just saw Seattle have to rally late to beat a Rams team that's been decimated by injuries to star players. But I think that Rams game serves as a wake-up call for the Seahawks here. Yes, Carolina has won 2 of its last 3, but those wins came at home. The Panthers are 0-5 on the road this season, and they lost 3 of those 5 by double digits. My DVOA-based projection is Seahawks by 10, so I see tons of value laying less than a touchdown here. I've done well with Seattle this season when my DVOA-based projection shows clear value on them, so the Seahawks have a pretty good chance of being on my Sunday card. Moving on, game Kansas City at Denver. Look-ahead line was Chiefs -6.5. That is now all the way up to -9.5, so it has crossed the key number of 7 and even the key number of 8. I completely understand this line move. Denver couldn't beat the Ravens even after knocking Lamar Jackson out of the game early last Sunday. And the Chiefs should be plenty motivated after losing to the Bengals yet again. Patrick Mahomes is now 0-3 when facing Joe Burrow. And here's something interesting. All 3 times Mahomes has lost to Burrow, Kansas City has faced Denver in its next game. The first 2 times, Kansas City did win, but they failed to cover in both meetings. They won by 7 as a 9.5-point home favorite in 2018, and they won by just 4 as an 11.5-point road favorite last season. So if you're thinking it's a given that KC blows out Denver because they're coming off that loss, well, it hasn't really worked out that way before. This surprised me also, but my DVOA-based projection is Chiefs by just 4. So value on Denver catching more than a touchdown at home, but no way am I putting my money on them against what should be a pissed-off Chiefs team. The better play here might be under 43, as Denver has gone under in 11 of its 12 games this season, thanks to a good defense and an almost non-existent offense. The next game is the Miami Dolphins at the LA Chargers. This game has been flexed to Sunday Night Football. I guess the thought of having to watch the Denver Broncos didn't appeal to the networks. So they flexed this game in. The look-ahead line was a pick'em. We're now looking at Miami at -3 at -120. And I'm a little surprised that this line has gotten to 3. Both teams lost last week. Miami lost by 16 in San Francisco, largely due to a -3 turnover margin. And the Chargers lost by a touchdown in Vegas despite winning the turnover battle. My DVOA-based projection here is Dolphins by 5, but I don't see any real value on Miami here because 4 is a dead number. Plus, Miami has a huge AFC East game on deck against Buffalo, so the situation also keeps me off the Dolphins. But I also don't trust the Chargers, as they're just 2-3 straight up at home this season, and that includes losses by 2 touchdowns or more to Jacksonville and Seattle. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will do it for this week's Look Ahead Line segment. Before we get to the free play, I do have a quick favor to ask. Please hit the thumbs up button and click the subscribe button if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, before the free play, I want to make you aware of a great deal going on right now at Wager Talk. I'm number 1 in college football win percentage this season, and we have plenty of bowl games coming up. And as I record this on Wednesday morning, I'm currently on an amazing 13-1, 93% winning roll in college basketball. So go to dbbets.com, and on the right side of the page, you'll see a package titled, Let's Finish Off 2022 with a Bang. That package gets you all of my plays in NFL, college football, NBA, and college basketball through December 31st for just $199. That's a savings of $98 and no coupon is needed. And the earlier you get this package, the more bang you're getting for your buck. This package will only be up for a few days, so do not miss out. Now, for this week's free NFL play, we're going to get back on that teaser winning track here. Hopefully we don't suffer any QB issues this week. We're going to do the 6-point teaser at -120. And for leg number 1, we're going to tease the Minnesota Vikings up to +8.5. This is a great value. We're teasing up through the key numbers of 3, 7, and 8. The Lions are off that blowout win over Jacksonville, but can they win back-to-back games by more than one possession? They haven't done it yet. I'm not so sure. And this is a division battle. Those are usually close. And the Vikings would clinch the division already with a win here. And the Lions will have their full attention this time because, one, Detroit's only loss in its last 5 games was by a field goal against Buffalo on Thanksgiving. And 2, when they met in Minnesota in Week 3, the Vikings had to rally with 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to escape with the home win. So if they were taking Detroit lightly in that first meeting, they definitely won't be taking them lightly this time around. And leg number 2, we're going to tease the Tampa Bay Buccaneers up to +9.5. Bottom line here, if you're going to give me Tom Brady +9.5 points against Brock Purdy, I'm going to take it every time. Other than a stinker against Carolina, Tampa Bay has only lost 1 game this season by double digits, and that was by 10 against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And Purdy is certainly no Mahomes. I'm sure the 49ers could control this game with their defense, but Purdy's facing a Bucs D that is better than the Miami D he faced last Sunday. So your free NFL play for this week is a 6-point teaser at -120 with the Vikings +8.5 and the Buccaneers +9.5. And that'll do it for this edition of DB's Freebies. Don't forget to head over to dbbets.com and take advantage of that rest of the year special. Again, no coupon needed. And until next time, be smart, bet smart, and good luck on all your wagers.